Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about our effects menu. Effects let us add some creative options to our text and shapes and everything that you can pull into Create and Cut. So we're starting with a flower here, and I'm going to go over to our effects menu, which is right down here. And if you click on that, we see all our effects options. The first one we're going to go over is outlining. By clicking on that, it gives us an outline shadow effect behind our flower. Notice Design Central has changed. It has given us several options at the top here. We've got an outline, inline, and a contour. We'll go over all three of those real quick. First one being the basic outline. You also have the option here to change it to multiple outlines. And the thing that you need to keep in mind is that this is another Design Central menu that has the red X and the green check mark. So anytime you're working in it, you can hit the red X to cancel it, or hit the green check mark to set that effect. Okay, now if you want to separate those outlines so that you can change them, you simply go up to the Effects menu and say Separate Outline. And by doing so, you can move those apart and have multiple objects. Then we have the inline, and notice the inline outline actually creates a line within the outline. And you can adjust this just like the other ones and get some really pretty effects. And notice you also have a control point here. And as I've mentioned before, anytime you have a control point means that you have options. So you can move this control point and change the outline effect right there. And once again, you have your X and your check mark. So to set that effect, you're going to go ahead and click the check mark. And then that's the effect for the inline. And then the other option is the contour option. Now a contour is going to put an outline, but it is only going to go around the outside, so that when you have an object that has the center cut out, it won't go through and outline that as well. I'm going to show you real quick some samples of things with outlines. This is the basic flower we started out with, and we first added a basic outline. And this is also what a contour outline would look like too. And then here is our inline option, where we put the inlines. And then this is a multiple outline. So I went ahead and changed the number of outlines to 3 to get that effect. Okay, so the next effect that we're going to go over in the Effects menu is our Distort command. Clicking on the Distort button, it actually will take the object that you have on your screen and clicked, and it will push it into a shape. So you can take it and distort it. And notice also you have control points here, so you can change those effects and move things around. And simply click on that green arrow to make those effects work. This is nice with when you're drawing, say, a rectangle. You can make it go into like a flag shape. And we'll go on to the next effect, which is our shadow effect. Now we have very many shadow options available. We have our drop down shadow, our block, and once again you can move them around with the lines. Our perspective, and you could bring that down. You can do it manually, or you can work with the actual control points. And then the last one is the cast shadow. Looks like the sun is shining on it. And then there's also several options in here. Click on this one and you get your outline that goes around both the image and the outline. And several options that you can try. And let me go ahead and show you some of those effects. So we've got at the very bottom the cast shadow, and then we have our perspective, and the block, and the drop shadow. Okay, then I would like to show you one more option that's available for text with outlining that is really helpful. going to go ahead and we're going to type in some text that is a little bit on the thin side and show you how we could change the thickness of it by simply adding an outline. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change the font. I'm going to switch it to something that's a little bit on the finer side. So I'm going to switch it to Edwardian script. Now if you were to go ahead and cut this out right now, the script is so fine that the lines will actually fall apart because the paper itself cannot handle it. So if you were to cut it out, you would land up with something that would look something like this. You've got such very thin areas that even just to set it into an object, it would be difficult. So we're going to go ahead, let me go ahead first and change that to a capital P. And we'll make this a little bit larger for right now. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select outline. And I'm going to use the outline versus the contour. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to take that outline and I'm going to pull it really tight around the object. So just a hair of an outline. And then in the Design Central menu, there's a box at the bottom that says Keep Original. And if you uncheck that box and you click on the check mark, your text is going to turn into a little bit of a fatter text. So what you land up with is you land up with this very fine text that you had, but a slight outline on it so you don't lose any of the character of the text, but you have something that's a little bit fatter and more placeable. Okay, so that is our effects menu. So there's lots of fun things to play with there and add to your paper crafts. So have fun checking it out.